Yeah, you know what it is. That straight kingdom talk, baby. You know how I'ma do it. Right. And I ain't going nowhere. 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 So sit back and relax and enjoy the show. Watch me hit him with this 1-2 knockout KO. This time it's all or nothing, and I ain't playing around. They tried to overlook me cause I wasn't in the in crowd. Well, I'm back at it, so you know it's going down. And I'm all up in their face, so they gotta see me now with that raw lunch.
All right, what's up? And happy Friday, everybody. I know you see the switch. You see him over here. Whoops, there we go. Hope you guys are having a great Friday. We have a great show in store for you guys today because, moi is leading it. So I'm just saying, I'm going to lead it over to my left. Tony, go ahead and say what's up.
What up, everybody? It's your boy, Tony Clapper, a.k.a. the Chat 'em Up Champion, a.k.a. the Clapback Kid. I'm out here, you know what I'm saying? Got my boys with me, got my homegirl with me, got my championship belt with me, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, we just out here doing our thing on Friday, you know what I mean? So, yeah, I'm passing it down.
Greetings. Okay, the originator. I'm here on a Friday. I'm absolutely. It's been a hell of a week. I'm here. Friday, go.
I feel you on that, man. I have been running around like crazy. I've been busier than one-legged man in a butt kicking contest this week, and I am so wiped out.
Damn.
I have been finishing like so many different projects.
That was prolific.
Dang.
Every time I finish a project, my body just wants to crash, but I got 10 more things to do. But my body's like, okay, I've been stressing over this one for a month.
Bro.
So crash. Nope. Get back up. There's more to do.
That was
funny.
My
gosh.
That was funny. I like that one. That was a good one.
You should hear me talk around the house on a regular basis. I say some crazy crap.
That was a good one, Fish. That was a good one.
That
was some Uncle Fish stuff right there.
Very
Y'all write
Uncle
that one down
Fishy
from
like.
Uncle Fish. I like that.
I absolutely love that. I mean, what can you expect? It's us, and of course with Uncle Fish, you're always gonna get the great one-liners. But when it comes to this, it is March. It is Women's History Month, and I figured let's get into a topic. Let's talk about some things about the women in what we do in the comic book industry. So I'm excited to hear what you guys have to say in the comments, what people have really influenced you when it comes to this industry, and just kind of talk about some of those who are in one of the more mainstream versions. We can even talk about our friends. That's the cool thing I really enjoy about doing this podcast with my co-hosts, who are also my friends. They're also in the indie comic book industry. So I'm excited for what we have. Are you guys excited? Are you guys excited? How do you guys? I know you're tired, Ryan, but I'm gonna we're gonna make it through this hour together. I promise you.
I'm always excited when it's Fivestar Fridays.
Well,
I'm also always excited when somebody else takes the hot seat.
That's really fun. When somebody else is doing the heavy lifting, that's a lot of fun right there.
I like that. I like it.
Absolutely. 100%.
Hey.
I mean, it's not really the light seat. I enjoy it because you get to ask questions. You get to hear people's take on things. Yeah.
What up, bro?
Mr. High Evolutionary. Yes, it is a ladies' night indeed. So I will start off with the first question.
All right.
When it comes to the comic book industry, what was the first woman that kind of spoke out to you when it came to something that she did, and why? Why did it kind of speak out to you?
I can go.
Sure.
Honestly, the comic book dominated industry, unfortunately. Not a lot of writers or artists that have been predominantly influenced or have had there's a couple that have had an impact on me that I bet, like Gail Simone. She wrote Birds of Prey. back the Oracle, that whole entire saga with the Huntress, Black Canary, and Batgirl, aka Oracle Barbara Gordon. That was groundbreaking for a lot of reasons because it was led by a woman writer. So for me, that was really good. There's also Willow Wilson, who created Miss Marvel, the writer of Miss Marvel. So that is something that is also groundbreaking amongst itself. Having your first Pakistani superhero as a teenager, grounded, very grounded character. That was a game changer for me as well. It's just sad to say, the unfortunate part about this is that there's not a lot of women in this field, and there should be a lot more, unfortunately. That's what
I agree.
I can contest to, because it should be equally, because, for me, if you go back in time, like look at these old books, it is heavily bad for a woman's point. It's bad. So
and ridiculously bad. Could have been made easier if it wasn't just sticking to stereotypical nonsense. And that's the stuff that frustrates me so much about the old comics. When like I'm not going to get started. I'm not going to go on a tirade like I did the other day. But yeah, Tony.
Happy Women's History Month to you. You're a trailblazer yourself. I want to give you your flowers while you are here.
Yeah,
you are simply amazing.
We didn't get into the indies yet, but of course, when you talk about indies, that's a whole different thing. But like Ryan was saying, there wasn't, as far as like heavily influenced, like he said, it was kind of a male dominant kind of situation. And no Cinti though, Spider-Woman, she created characters like Longshot, which you can't go wrong with that. I mean, Longshot, Mojo, and Spiral, Tripad Mary. I mean, them are some not like big characters, but they got some good stories revolving around.
I love me some Mojo.
Oh yeah, and Longshot I love Longshot because I always like characters that are, like Bullseye, Deadshot, Longshot. So I mean, saying that you're somebody who created characters that have stood the test of time is obviously a big deal. She went on to later to write some stuff in the New 52, like Catwoman, Green Arrow, stuff like that. So I would say anytime that you can, in this male-dominated world of comics, that the way it has been, to get a female in there who can create characters that have stood the test of time is a big deal. So I'd have to put her name on the board there for myself.
Wonderful.
Drop 5. Good call, brother. Good call.
Fish?
My turn. The problem with being my turn is that being so much older than everybody else in here, there wasn't a whole lot to pick from when I was a kid. I mean, like the only female creative on any of the teams that I really knew about growing up was Weezy Simonson, working with like Chris Claremont on the X-Men, all the way up into like working on New Mutants and stuff. That was all I really knew about growing up because there weren't a whole lot of female artists, and like I knew there was a bunch of little old ladies cutting ruby lith for the color separations, but like other than that, it was all dudes when I was growing up that we knew about, that we're talking about regularly, that were
I have a fun fact though, Fish.
What's that?
I was doing some homework since last night, since Fee gave us this topic. I didn't want to come in, sounding like a dumbass. So did y'all know that actually William Marston's wife, Elizabeth Marston, was actually the one who created Wonder Woman?
Yep.
He gets credited for it, but
his wife, documentary about it.
Yeah.
Yep.
His wife.
I've seen a lot of stuff about it. I didn't.
His wife is actually the one who gave him the idea behind Wonder Woman, which I think makes Wonder Woman
just as iconic as Wonder Woman is, that makes her even more iconic to know
Yeah.
that it was a female voice. Not
Wow.
even though she didn't get the credit for it, which
I like that a lot better than him because
Yeah.
he's kind of creepy and weird.
it's
in a lot of
nice to
ways.
see.
And it's like, isn't the same study was for the systolic blood pressure? Like the wife, she actually was like, she has degrees in law and psychology and was working and helped him with research,
Yeah.
He
which is
developed
so
the lie
cool.
detector test and all kinds of crazy stuff. Like he's a weird figure.
Exactly.
So
And
I thought that was cool when I was doing my homework. I stumbled across that and I was like, oh man, that's dope. They should rewrite that.
Yeah.
They should give that credit to that woman.
well, like there's going back and putting Bill Finger and everything now that they found out how much he
Damn
can do with
right they
Batman.
should.
They should be doing the same thing with female
Yeah, they
creators
should go back
that
and put that in there.
didn't get the credit that they deserved back
Absolutely.
in the day. Which,
I
you know,
agree.
that's one of the reasons that I'm such a big supporter of female-led comics now and like follow female-led webtoons and stuff. And like we were saying, when we get to the indie part, indie has been a really open place for a lot of female creators to get started. Like I just helped Sarah out on UHS Studios the other night, and we were interviewing Madeline Holly Rosing, and her freaking Boston Metaphysical Society has been going nuts. She's been putting this thing out for years. She's got a huge following. Like we talk with a lot of people about their Kickstarter campaigns, but she's not like, if we do this, she's like, well, when we hit 20 grand, we're going to do this. And then when we hit this, we're going to do that. And I'm like, but she's got like 1,000 loyal followers that keep backing her books. She's out there doing the freaking work we all want to be doing and putting out amazing books.
And I mean, to your point, I think it's so cool that we have connections with that. The fact that I love with being in an indie comic, family. I think it's so cool to be so interconnected, to learn and see these things up close, which I think is really cool because especially when it comes to the more mainstream, it's definitely a lot harder. To give credit for another person I found to be really amazing was Flo Steinberg. She was known as Fabulous Flo. She started off as a secretary at Marvel Studios. And the coolest thing I liked about it was the fact that she got like the comic book bug and she decided to actually create her own. And to make sure I quote it correctly, it's called Big Apple Comics and became one of the first major independent underground comics, which was cool because later on in the series, she did What If issue 11. And I want to give a shout out to the Fabulous Flo herself for that because I think that is truly cool to just be able to dive in and then also do so well in the independent realm.
Dope.
Anyone else that kind of like stands out to you when it comes to the mainstream part of it? Because again, to Ryan's point, it is really true that there needs a lot more work when it comes to the space of getting more
That's the sad
there, and there's a lot of work to be done.
That's
Well, I
the
think
sad
now we're starting to see, and it might not be so much on the, like the writer or the artist, but we're starting to see more ladies in like executive positions. Like overseeing. I think I want to say DC had a head lady for maybe still does or has for quite some time. Because every time you watch one of these documentaries on anything DC related, there was a lady and I can't think of her name, but she was she sounds like she's running the show. Like everybody's reporting to her, and I know there's one in the Star Wars also. So it's like you're starting to see more of a presence there, which is dope. I mean, I think representation matters. We all know that. And to have, so many dope, exciting, influential female characters, we need female voices to be a part of that. So it's nice to finally see like that representation there and people there who can be like, hold up, that ain't a good idea. You know what I mean? Or hold up, that ain't what's up. Or hey, this is what's up. Or yes, they would do that. Or no, they wouldn't do that. So it's a beautiful thing.
Wonderful. I know. I was like, I see that point. Thank you, J-Man, for saying you're going to be nice today, and thank you for the happy St. Patrick's Day wishes. I was like, since we're talking about women, I was like, it's St. Patty LaBelle's Day. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just, but we're gonna continue with the questions. I would say the next one, when it comes to these roles, like you said, Tony, how it's becoming more with the bigger, more executive roles. When it comes to the movies, I know we always kind of go toe to toe, head to head, however you want to say it. Where would you want more of a woman's perspective when it comes to the role, when it comes to directing, or when it comes to the photography, or when it comes to the mood setting or the writing of it? How would you want to see that?
Anybody want to go first?
I thought she was asking you specifically.
Oh, was you asking me?
You could start it. That was fine. Or if
Oh, my
anyone
fault. I
wants to
thought you was. I thought you were commenting on what I had said, but my fault. My fault.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought she was
You're
asking you
okay.
directly.
You're okay.
No, you're good. You're good. I mean, like I said, overall, it's just something that's needed anyway. Like we need voices and representation in all aspects of anything media. We've had so long where it's been the same looking dude sitting around the table making decisions on what characters that don't look like them or anything, and they're making these decisions about these characters where we need that representation, especially now. I mean, more than ever. And I would say now, like now that I've had daughters and I have daughters and I'm seeing my daughter grow up, I would want somebody who truly has her best interest at heart when they're creating characters. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm glad we're starting to get into this, and we still have it obviously, but like we're starting to see female characters are dressed a little bit more. You know what I mean? And they don't have to wear boob armor. You know what I mean? Like it's okay that they're rocking just regular armor. You know what I mean? Like, and it's clear that that's because there's some voices in there that are like, yo, this is not what's up. This isn't working. This is, we need to change this. There's little girls at home that are watching this. And I think a good example of that, and I know this show is like super raunchy, but it's kind of like this aspect of it is pretty realistic. And if you watch The Boys, right? Season 1, what's the girl's name? Starlight, I think.
Mm-hmm.
They make her switch up to this more revealing costume, and she doesn't want to wear it because she's like, that ain't what I want to represent. And they force her to kind of to wear that. But then later on, she's like, no, forget that. I'm going to wear what I want to wear. I want to cover up more. You know what I'm saying? Like, we've had so much of that. It's good to finally be getting into a place where people are like, yo, that ain't realistic. She ain't going to fight in that. Why you got her all exposed for some grown men can just buy the pinup? You know what I'm saying? Like, let's get to a place where we don't have to do that. And I like how we're seeing more representation of different shapes and sized women, because at first it was all like just the same old.
Mm-hmm.
So definitely you're hearing the voices there. It's starting to show that there's some female voices in power that are like, yo, we ain't doing this shit no more.
Right.
Does that mean that there still needs to be more? There's more growth, more improvement? Of course. We're still not 100% there, but we're slowly getting there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we need a lot more inclusivity and diversity in women's voices, and that's, if you want to talk about cinematic books and television and film, I mean, like we still don't have enough led shows, perspectives, narratives on what a woman goes through in comic books, or in that retrospect.
Yep.
So there's still not enough of it today, still to this day, unfortunately.
Nope.
Stuff that really hit the core was Miss Marvel on that show, where you see a kid be a kid, someone be and have a perspective on today's life. I have not seen a show like that in a long time that really got me, wow, this is really, 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 and it was written by women, But something is very, very exciting to see, but there's not enough of that. We're trying to get other things made. We're trying to see perspectives on different cultures, ideas, different people, different colors, everything, shapes and sizes, like Tony says. But the other thing is, on the other end, we have these people who want to see representation all the time. So it's not like accepting this as well, getting that pushback, and that, like, for instance, just a couple days ago, there was a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles trailer that dropped. You have a black April who has a shape, a real shape as a woman, and people want her to be voluptuous and a pinup like the 90s cartoon. This kind of stuff to me is perplexing and very, very,
and this just shows that you ain't been watching Ninja Turtles, because it's not the first black April.
Exactly.
In the black and white comics, I thought she was black, and then all of a sudden she jumps back
cartoons. Always been black and white, and then they made her white for the cartoon.
You know what kills me? You know what kills me though, Ryan? It's like y'all already got that. If you want to see that, go back and enjoy that. Exactly. Like, it's not like
it's already there.
It's already
go watch Megan Fox be April O'Neil.
Like, you have it. It's not like we're taking.
Right.
It's not like they're being like. It's not like
you've got big bowed up steroid muscles. You've got a half naked Megan Fox.
We're not gonna Thanos snap. We're not gonna Thanos snap all that other shit away, and you'll never be able to see it again. Go watch the old shit. Like, it's still there. Like,
exactly. And that's my thing. It's like, where's the give and take? Where's the acceptance of having these variety of inclusivity and diversity in culture when the world is actually changing? I come from a different generation. I'm not from this Gen Zer generation. These are the people who are going to be leading the cases going forward, and for me, for that, we have to accept these kind of things, because the world and people are changing, and people are not accepting that. And for me, that is a thing to see. So for me, I would love to see equal balance, equal pay for women in the entertainment industry. They're not even getting, people should.
How freaking ridiculous is that? I mean, even when you're getting up to CEO levels and not making the same as a former CEO that did the same job and didn't make as much profit.
Yep.
And quite as a captain, you're making better. So for me, it's just like, people should be paid equal respect for what they put in and what they give out. It's the same idea, and it's business. You're be the problem. And that's what I mean. Like, it's a problem still to this day. And I would love to see women have their own voices, have been heard, to see them represented in this kind of industry.
Right. To me, the core part of the problem is, and it goes back to the stereotypes that we've had for a long time, but men in general look at women with a predatory glance. Like, we're looking at women as something to be chased, something to be conquered, something to put up on a pedestal and worship. Never another human being like me. It's something that we need to chase and catch and capture, which is why you have all these stupid books in the 50s, where, like, Lois Lane doesn't know what to do, which boy is going to ask her out, all kinds of dumb things that don't make any sense. And either it's being forced into that lens, or it's being forced through the father. This is my precious baby, and she's always going to be a precious baby and never be one of these women that we want to hunt. And it just keeps leading to the same repetitive crap that don't let these characters evolve and become something more and something more complex. And then you have this same kind of mindset, like, oh, well, I'm just going to write it like a dude. And which is better. You get more interesting characters, but you can't just blatantly, switch the sex on the character, and write it like you'd write a dude and have it be authentic and real and genuine. And, that's the thing that kind of bothered me with Wakanda Forever is Shuri's response to her brother's death felt like such an angry masculine response. It didn't feel as genuine to a sister to me. And, the women that I'm around and exposed to, it just felt a little bit too masculine to me. And, I don't know, it threw me off. We need more women having a part in this, being creators, being writers, being illustrators, helping make all of this stuff richer and more rounded and bring all of their experiences and their sisters and mothers and aunts and all of their experiences together. Because I know when I pull from my family into a story and all of my friends, the characters get a lot more richer and a lot realer and a lot more interesting to watch. And you can get characters like Ms. Marvel that I freaking love if we just make room and let them do their thing.
Well put. I mean, that's definitely a great perspective on it as well, because with this and hearing all of you, I know you guys have this passion. You all are on the same page with change having to come about. So, for anyone who agrees with you when it comes to this point, what are the steps that we do? How do we get this to the point where it breaks through the mainstream portion of it? How would you say an approach or a game plan to really kind of attack it?
You invest your money in female creators and you financially support books that are coming out from female teams. Like, that was one of the things that excited me so much when we were talking to Madeline the other day on the UHS studio show, because her whole team, except for the letter, are all females. And that's an exciting thing to get to see in indie comics. You don't see that very often. So I absolutely threw my money into that right away to help support that and become another person on that team to help it get made. But it's just like, all of our friends that are, Black or people of color that are creators. You've got to invest your money into these projects if you want to see more stories like this get told. You can't just pat them on the back and say, good job, man, you made a book, I'm proud of you. You need to buy that book and read that book and tell your friends that that book is awesome. And that's going to get it out there. And we need to shut it down when people start making stupid, baseless arguments about something like, well, what do we need a She-Hulk? We already got a Hulk. We can't let those kind of dumb, idiotic arguments stand without standing up and saying, look, this is an important character. You don't know what you're talking about. You got to shut down the nonsense. You got to put your money into it. That's my 2 cents.
Ryan?
It's more about supporting the women enjoy and their projects and what they're to the table. I think for me, I'm very selective in regards to this because about what they're manifesting and what they want to create. I support something that's a trope, I won't support a trope. I'll support something that's original, a looking glass, a part of their life, predominantly putting in their project. So that it would be more of me representing and supporting something that I believe in, support something that is just a trope or something that's been rehashed. And like people do that every day, including that every day, so it's not something that's not, it's just for me, it's got to be something that is meaningful, impactful, and something's about change to make things go forward and go better. That's the thing. Like IPs, original IPs need to be seen, but also need to look at with a fine comb as well. Because it's the same thing with today. We're feeding off nostalgia. There's nothing original anymore, and that's the problem right now. We're not seeing original IPs. We're just rehashing shit from the 60s, 70s, and 80s.
Or we're not investing in them when they do come out.
Exactly.
People make some interesting new things and they don't get the attention.
Exactly.
Because, there's another copy, there's another new Batman movie out, so let's go support that.
Yeah. I'm going to understand, the best picture this year was Everything Everywhere All at Once. So that is something that best movie I've seen in the last 20 years. So for me, that kind of female-led film be something of importance, So I think for me, quality over quantity, quality or quantity for me.
Well said.
I mean, I'd agree. Yeah, I would agree 100% with what Ryan and Fish both said. It's really not too much to even add on to it. They kind of both knocked it out of the park there.
Well, how many times have we, supported somebody and bought their book just to get it and like, oh, it's another Batman knockoff and it's another knockoff of this episode of Justice League, except the bad guy wins this time. Like, okay, I supported you. I gave you a shot. Good on you.
Yeah.
I'm not coming back for the next one if that's what you're giving me.
Yeah. And also, I'm going to, just kind of building off of what Ryan said too, I think it's important that we are paying attention to the projects we are supporting. I know, so let's just, if there's female creators that are putting out content that looks the same as what the men that have been doing are putting out, but they're putting it out to say, but I'm a female putting this out, and it's still the busty sex appeal, and I know that they're playing towards that crowd because their Kickstarters are going to do crazy numbers. That's still not the direction that I want to support. Does that make sense?
I support their right to do it 100%.
I support their right.
I don't have to put my money into it.
1,000%.
There's plenty of other thirsty dudes that are going to put their money into it.
Exactly. I'm not saying that. Yeah, I support that they have a right to do that. I support that that's what they're doing, but that's still not something that I'm going to throw my money at compared to some of the great indie women that are in our circle of the projects that I know that they're creating and the representation that they're putting out there and the change that they're actually trying to make. And I'm not saying that just like I'm hating on those that are doing that. That's your lane.
I don't blame you for making stuff is going to sell.
Exactly.
I don't do it.
That's your lane and you're running in it. Do you? I'm not hating. I just know that we're at a time and place where like money's a little tight, and I'm gonna choose and pick where I want to put that at.
But like also we're parents as well, so we're thinking about like the next generation of kids that we love and what kind of representation is this for them. Like I would much rather buy issues of the Surgeon, and she's an alcoholic and addict and stuff but I would rather buy issues of that because she's a well-rounded, badass, deep, rich character.
Right.
Than,
there's a deepness to it. It ain't just
then half-naked,
my breast.
half-naked co-ed schoolgirl ninjas. I don't care about that.
So that's another one. That's another point that I would add to like what Ryan and Fish said. But yeah.
Oh, thank you for that. And I definitely appreciate hearing all of your point of views for that. And, honestly, I think this is probably a great opportunity for a commercial of one of our fellow friends who happen to also be kicking it in the field. So, Fish, could you do the pleasure?
Yeah, let me get over there and find the commercials.
I love it. I love Lori and I love everyone at Unlikely Hero Studios. So I was excited for that. Thank you for putting that up for me, Fish, our wonderful producer. So I guess on a more lighter note, I definitely wanted this one half to kind of just hear your thoughts and perspectives on this. But I know for the second half of the show, I really just kind of want to give credit and talk about the wonderful women that are crushing it in the indie comic field that we know and love. And I just want to hear from you guys. Who are the people that you what?
Go.
Okay, let's do it. I thought you said
Why,
no. I was like,
Ryan,
what?
you act like there is a female creator that you're attached to that you're very excited about.
I mean, it's only if there was a character that I really enjoyed. I just can't remember who it is.
Let me tell you, I'm attached to who is nearly capable and is as strong as motherfucking Superman. Is Vigilance. Okay? Is part of A. You know, she is a complete badass. And she has a deep, very, very interesting. So I'm attached to her. You know, that's coming out soon. There's a delicious cover that's coming soon on that. So
there's a very delicious cover.
I'm really excited about, you know, my boy Mike. You know, we got a incredible team. There's a Vigilance in 3D. Her name is Fee. No, I don't know, but I'm excited about that. I also have someone that is real dear and completely near to my heart. Is Moana McAdams. We have something very special. She has an original. Let me say that one more time. She has an original IP.
One more time for the people in the back.
Yeah, one more time for the people in the back. Yes, The Adventures of Nicole and Nohea. We have there's going to be 3 books. The book is coming out next year. And that is honestly a game changer. I mean, Shadows was Terminator. Journey to Haiku is like T2, Judgment Day. So it is something that's incredibly special for me that I've been working on. It's something that I'm putting a lot in, and I'm really looking forward to people seeing it. And her original, it's a children's book. It doesn't feel like one. That's all I got to say. It doesn't feel like one, but it's very special. Yeah.
Moana, the real life Moana. Shout out to you because you are truly incredible.
Moana. Yeah, that's my drift partner. We drift all day.
Yeah, Moana's a trailblazer, man. She's always I put her on a pedestal for myself as far as like she's just always killing whatever she's doing. If you want to look towards somebody who sets goals, knocks out goals, makes shit happen no matter what she's got to do, she's one of them. She is the type of representation that is needed. And when we talk about like, you ask how do we fix this problem? It's like we have this pickaxe and we're just slowly chipping away at that shit. But then you get somebody like Moana who's fucking hitting that shit with a wrecking ball. You know what I mean? It's like she's trailblazing, and there's people watching her, and there's other female characters that are watching, or creators that are watching her, and she puts that presence like, I'm not going to be stopped. Like, I'm going to make this book happen. I'm going to make this podcast happen. You're going to know me. You're going to know who I am. You're going to know what I'm doing. And she's not letting no or any doors be closed. And I think that's big. We need more people like her. Lori Foster, and then another one. Trailblazer. Killing it. Not letting anything happen or stop them or get in their way.
Shout out to the soldering.
I mean, there's just so rich in the indie community of female creators that are creating content and just not being stopped or told no, or not being put into a box. That it's a beautiful thing to be a part of this tribe and kind of see that, because we haven't seen it quite like this on that mainstream level. But if you just go down to this indie level, you're seeing it. And you're like, these are the people that are building a world to where when my daughter gets up there, she's not going to be told as much because she's a female, because there's people that she can look up to that she sees and was like, they weren't told no. Like, they are creators, creating things and knocking the shit out of the park. And you know, even when I started like this show here, the Moana Nui podcast to me was like
that's what you want to hit right there. Like that's the goal you chasing after, because they're always doing it right, bringing the big guests.
I mean, when I first set up, and I'm just on my little cell phone and doing my thing. That was the top of the mountain for me. Like that was where I want to be at. I was like, yo, them ladies are doing it. Her and Dana are killing it. Dana's another one, bro. Trailblazer. She's out here killing it every day.
Dana Morgan.
She's out here killing it.
You have her with you at a show. Everything's getting done right. You getting a list of the times where you're supposed to be, what room you're supposed to be in, what floor you're supposed to be on. Yeah. I ain't never been so organized at a con as with her.
When I was helping with interviews, I mean, she gave me a schedule of time. I mean, it was like boom, 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 boom. I mean, she's just such a crucial part. And even in what we do in FSK, her and Lori both, like it's nice. And not only that, but it's nice as a creator to now have a circle of female creators and friends that I can hit up and be like, yo, I'm writing this female character. What input can I get? Instead of me asking like Fish or Ryan. I mean, I'm sure they'll give me good insight, but it's nice to be able to know that I have. It's not the same.
Yeah.
And it's nice to be able to know that I got female creators and female, people in my circle who are doing this thing also that I can hit up and be like, yo, does this make sense? Or would this happen? And to be able to, and that's another thing that we got to do as creators to help chip away at what we're trying to do. Give them credit when credit's due.
Right.
Just like, oh boy, he didn't even give credit to his wife. Like, he didn't give credit to his wife. She helped you create Wonder Woman, the most iconic. Like, I don't care if you're just going to ask them questions. Give them a little credit in that book. Like,
Oh, this wouldn't have happened without XYZ. Like, I was just wrapping up the front covers, inside covers for the next issue's Green Zone. And I'm like, if it wasn't for Tony and my wife, these books wouldn't be here right now because they pushed me and they need the credit for it. And like Tony was saying, like, you could interview my wife and ask her what it's like to live with Tourette's, and she could tell you a lot, but you'll get more about it from me because I actually have it. And like, that's the kind of thing you need, that input from real women with real lives that can tell you real things they've had to go through. And
we also need
I love that.
We also need to have having respect for creators and respecting people. I think we get into a momentary lapse of not supporting each other like we should. And that's something that we need to start look at with a comb. Because I feel like the retrospect, there is some separation sometimes. We need to start accepting these creators and understanding their perspectives and everything. Long if you don't gel with it, you still need to understand it and respect it.
Yeah, even if your first response is, I don't think I agree with this, you need to really listen with open ears and an open mind, and then be able to make your decision. Like, am I making this decision just because like I don't like them as a person, or am I just not wanting to hear what they're saying? Or is there something here that I don't know and maybe I need to open my damn mind and learn about?
Yeah. And that's a beautiful way to look at things. And another one I definitely want to give credit and give respect to, I definitely shout out to Jerry, because again, she is the writer of the character that I love to, cosplay so much. But I also want to pay a great respect to a wonderful trailblazer who left us entirely too soon, LaShawn, with Beautiful Soldiers and a lot of the countless works, because just absolutely amazing. And I just want to be able to take out that time to just say that it is such a blessing and opportunity to be surrounded by so many
Trailblazer.
Yeah. It is awesome, though, to be surrounded by so many trailblazers, so many people like LaShawn that were so giving and generous.
She's a perfect example. I mean, just look how hard her death hit the indie
oh,
scene.
God. Yeah. Everybody was broken because she reached out to everybody and helped everybody. And
so I mean, and that's the type of representation and the type of people that we want to see, and we would love to see that in the mainstream setting. I'm happy to know that I'm a part of it in the indie setting. I'm happy to know that, like I said, this is the future of what what the future might bring. Being a part of stuff where we're having real indie trailblazers, female trailblazers that are out here creating content.
But these
Yeah,
are
man.
also the ladies that are probably going to be the next generation getting picked up from the minors and taken to the majors too. Like we're seeing some of these people
Yeah.
come along, putting out, like Lori at UHS Studios is always putting out awesome book after awesome book. The work is always top notch. The stories are always top notch. And that kind of quality doesn't go unnoticed. Like you don't get by for long without everybody seeing what kind of quality work you put out.
Yeah. We're starting to see it in small doses everywhere. And I want to take a second, and I know this. I mean, creative wise, okay, it fits in this genre of creation because even if you look at like professional wrestling, at one point, the females were just there to walk out the dudes, right? Walk out with the guys, look a certain way,
Be pretty, be in
But
danger.
now we're in a place now where like female wrestlers are held, like they're starting to be held at that same standard and are putting out better matches and having better opportunities than some of the male wrestlers are. Headlining WrestleMania, which you would have never thought or would have ever seen. So it's just small steps like that. I feel like that's where I think they're thriving there a little bit more. Like it's like, okay, you're starting to see like a women revolution is what they even call it. Like that's, and it is. It'd be nice to see that in all these other avenues. But like I said, it's picking up that pickaxe and slowly just chipping away to hopefully we get to that point in society where it's like, we wouldn't even have to have this podcast right now because it's like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah,
it's just so norm.
Yeah.
Like we're all at that same standard anyway. Like everything's here, and hopefully, I hope that we get to that soon because I would love to be there, and I'd love that for my daughters and my future grandchildren and all that.
Yeah, and I definitely agree with that. I feel that we should. Hello, Danny J. Quick. Good
What
to
up,
see
Danny? Danny J.
you.
Too quick.
Danny J come in 48 minutes late.
Oh my God. It just doesn't stop. And I think it is a good thing to have these conversations and for them to happen more
real master.
often.
I thought Danny was doing pretty good on that grill. I'm just saying, I ain't gonna knock the man until I taste it,
Oh, the grilling is that? Oh, I remember. This is what happened. Okay. You guys and your
Danny's got his priorities. I'm telling you.
Hey, I had no. He called me out. I ain't say nothing.
I didn't say anything. My name Bennett. I ain't in it. But
I was in his inbox trying to give him little pointers. He called me out on social media. Hey, whew.
Oh goodness.
I just want to cook good meals for my family.
Nothing is wrong with that. Nothing is wrong with that. Nobody's gonna hold it against you. So I mean, you're doing just fine, Tony. And of course, for you looking out for your family in that way, it's a great thing. And I believe us having conversations and continuing to have them so that they do become more normal instead of something that it seems like we just have to have. And I agree with you that it would be great that this wouldn't be necessarily an episode where we have to discuss about things where things are different. It actually is just something that changes.
That's Mike, obviously, with the little whole meat cutter thing you got going on. All right.
You're not. I just. I was letting it simmer. I was letting it, let it marinate. Let you do what you do your little,
Danny, we're talking about women in comics right now. I do not have time to partake with you and talketh about the grill.
Talketh about the grill?
We're out here. We're talking about true trailblazers in the indie community that are out here killing it as female
Yeah.
creatives, and how we would love to see that representation in mainstream, and how we're slowly getting it, but it's not quite there. But we'd hope it would get there. But we see that in the indie community that it's starting to happen. That's where we're at. That was a quick summary for you right there.
That was your quick,
Yeah.
And there is a lot of
synopsis.
good stuff
Tony
happening
J.
in the indie
Quick.
community, all the way up to like Image and stuff. Like, there's a lot of good female-led books and creations coming out now. Like I know there are so many good female creators and writers that are working even at the big two now. The problem is I'm on a limited budget as a comic book artist. I don't make a lot of money, so I invest all my money in indie comics, like in the lower small press indie, because I want to support people like us. So, but
Absolutely.
to my benefit, there's lots of great female creators out here too.
Which is wonderful, yeah. And
hmm
I think it's truly incredible to just be able to see, I don't know, just to see the growth and progression. This is such an interesting and amazing time to be alive, because I know from several accounts, just seeing whether it's someone who like, a writer, or, comic book artist who does, the inking, or just a cosplayer I see. It's just incredible to just see, because I just love to just sit there and just be in awe, and to know that it's just like, that representation just matters. It's still important for young children, but even, me, sometimes I'm always just stopped in my tracks to just admire, someone who is just truly killing it in their field. And I truly find it incredible.
Mhm.
Yes, we're amazing storytellers, and I enjoy that, and it's a great presence and opportunity to be around. So I guess to wrap it up, I want it to be on a light note. I want to finish this on a good strong note. So I know that we kind of basically did a nice little wrap around. We went kind of talked about the big two, kind of like mainstream, how we've known it, how it's kind of progressing, how it's going now. Our wonderful friends in the indie comic book community who are trailblazing and killing it. Um, do you have anything, I guess, coming up that's new that would be something that could be themed on this month of March, fellas?
I mean, I have a couple
Everyone's
of
head went the same way. I'm just
I mean,
I have a
I'll
couple
go
of
ahead and
female
say
characters I'm
Fish.
proud of in Green Zone.
Fish. I would say Fish with his Green Zone book has
Mhm.
more, just because of the world building he's able to do, has a shit ton of representation in it,
Yeah.
and
Well, I
he's
mean,
writing some good, strong female characters in that. Um, I mean,
And
for me,
there's
like Agent D in my book, um,
mhm,
being based off of a real person that I'm very close to, I'm happy to get her representation
mhm.
in a book, and be able to hit her up and be like, "Yo, would D say this or would she
oh
not?"
yeah,
You
that's
know, and that's
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 the
that's
thing.
a big thing to be able to hit her up and be like, "Is this? What do you feel about this?" And for her to be like, to be able to tell me whether she likes it or doesn't, or if that's something she would say.
Yeah.
So being able to get her out into a book and her character,
Yeah.
uh, I'm excited about that.
You have a show. You have a show on Tuesdays
I
that
do have
also
a
has
show.
awesome female characters.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
just
yeah.
saying.
I mean, I was getting to that. I was talking about my. I didn't know. You threw me off with a question for a second. I stumbled, but
Oh, you got thrown off with a question? Wow.
yeah. I was trying to give credit to my boy Fish down there with Green Zone, because he does have a lot of representation in that book.
I've got a couple of I've got two female characters in the regular part of the series that I love, that I'm proud of, and I'm really excited to see what I get to do with them. There's a couple of characters coming up in issue 4 that I'm really excited to introduce, and get to show different aspects of different personalities. But yeah, I'm proud of what we're doing in there, and I'm proud of what we're doing at FSK, because there's a lot of really interesting female characters in FSK. Like, I love Vigilance, and I love the way she's portrayed. I love Titan.
Titan,
There's
Titan's my girl. I
mhm.
mean, Vigilance is my girl too because of my girl P. But Titan is my girl.
Mm-hmm.
Ryan's got my back.
beating.
It's cool. I'm cool.
In our
I'm
book-
cool. Ryan's got
In
my
our
back.
book, we have a lot of female representation. I mean, we have gods that are females. So
Yeah.
gods. Gods.
Check mark. He wins.
Yeah. That guy.
Okay, Ryan, we get it.
It's the same equivalent where it's like we have this and this, and like when Tony Stark was like, we have a Hulk, we have gods. Get on our power level. I love that.
All I know is I remember Hulk tossed that one god around Loki, so I don't know if that means anything. But
Yeah.
Just kidding.
Shade. Okay. Okay.
Shade. I ain't even. Just kidding. Put the blockers on. Go ahead.
I can still see you.
I can't see you. Just kidding. I'm invisible. My mom told me if I wear these, I was invisible.
Oh, you can't see me. You can't see me.
Was that the light note you wanted to end on?
I mean, hey, I think I'm pretty satisfied with that. You know, I guess
Oh my goodness.
that's a pretty nice little light note. I mean, again, I'm just happy that we were able to, talk about the wonderful women and trailblazers in our space because, they certainly deserve these flowers all the time and more than just the month of March. So I always appreciate hearing from you guys. And
Shout out though.
go ahead.
Shout outs to Tess, man, who keeps the Agents of Geekdom, our network, running and doing what she does. She is behind the scenes. She's also on the Geek Council that's on Sundays. But Tess holds it down for us, makes sure everything is running smoothly. She's pretty much managing the 7 shows that we have on here. So
yeah.
Shout outs to her, man.
Shout out to you, Tess. Yeah, she's truly incredible. All of our interns, absolutely amazing. I love them all. They're truly phenomenal. So, yes, Tessa, thank you. Everyone, thank you. Guys, let us know in the comments when it comes to the topics you want to hear, especially this month being Women's History Month. We would love to hear from you when it comes to just the certain things you guys want us to talk about. So I appreciate it. Ryan, Tony, Uncle Fishy, I love you guys so much. I appreciate you guys, and I appreciate all of you. You guys always keep being a wonderful, amazing version of yourselves, and I hope you have a wonderful. You see me.
I see you.
So,
you got it.
So, on behalf of all of us, we're signing out. You guys have a wonderful week. Peace.